Okay, then we have to start with last weekend. A terrific result at Stirling.
It was. The game before when we won it, we beat Queen's Park at home. We kind of struggled through that game, and I was glad to say on Saturday I thought it was a victory we thoroughly deserved. A wee bit concerned at half time because we never really put the game to bed. It could have been, it could have been 2, 3 or 4-0 at half time. And my concerns obviously came through when they equalised about 10 minutes into the second half. But to be fair to the players, they stepped it up again. They got their goal. Were unlucky again not to go further ahead, and it could have cost us again at the end because they kind of missed a chance near the end. But overall, I didn't realise that Stirling Albion were unbeaten since September at home. So it shows you how good the result it was.
Is that just another example, Jim, of a good team when not at their best, they've still got that wherewithal to grind the result out?
Well, it's a pleasing thing to go to a place like Stirling Albion. They're a good team. They've got some good individual players. The pitch is really poor, to be honest. It's kind of looked after by council now, and it was a really. There was really heavy showers of rain come on and whatever. So it was a. Don't get me wrong. It was a good performance. It wasn't although we have, like I'm saying against Queen's Park, we battled to get a result. I thought we played quite well last week at times, and there was a lot of character to the performance because they equalised, and you can buckle after that, but they kept going and. Again, playing like we spoke about last week, you're playing against a team that you knew that they thought was a wee bit last chance saloon to try and catch you. So, it was a good performance, and it was a good battling performance.
Yeah, at home to Clyde on Saturday. On paper, that looks a tough one, doesn't it?
Of course it is. I think if you look at Clyde's best results, they all come away from home. They're a team that's set up to play away from home, really, because they're really well organised. They've got a player on their team that can throw the ball a mile. So, if they've not got a corner, they've got a long throw, which is equivalent to a corner, and you're kind of always under pressure to a certain extent. So you've got to defend well and win your headers and win your battles. And if you can do that, then obviously. We'll have a chance of winning the game, but that you've got to overcome, all these things with Clyde because they're a well organised team, and it's not a fluke that they're still there at this stage of the season.
Yeah, it's a real 6-pointer, isn't it? Because if you win, the gap's 10 points. They win, and the gap's just 4.
That's right. Obviously, I'd rather be in our position. I think it's. You could probably maybe say the same for Clyde this week as you could for Stirling Albion last week, that they'll say, oh, well, it's a game we need to win. But knowing Jim Duffy as well as I do, Jim will not change. Jim will not come up and say, oh, well, we'll go for it this week or whatever. Jim will come up and they'll play the same way as they always do away from home. They'll be a wee bit cautious. He knows he's got good players that can counter-attack. And as I said before, he's got this, these long throw-ins and set pieces that there'll always be a danger from. So I know exactly what to expect from Clyde and from Jim. So really, it's about what our boys do in the day that's the most important thing, and obviously that's combating these things that I've pointed out, and then obviously playing themselves when they get the ball.
Yeah, I guess patience and discipline could be two key qualities for Peterhead then.
Oh, of course it will be. I think it's something we're used to at Peterhead now, to be honest. It's been probably disappointing for the supporters that come to the home games because we have got a fantastic away record, basically probably because teams are more open against us. When we're playing away from home and they come at you and we've got more space to play in. And I don't think it's a fluke that we've won 8 or 9 games away from home this year. And obviously our record isn't as good at Balmoor, so I think that speaks for itself. But the best thing that can happen in these games is to try and get ahead. Maybe the first half if you can, and then obviously the opposition have got to change their game a wee bit. But it's something we're used to now, and I think the supporters are used to it. But we're getting to the stage also where everybody realises how crucial it is, and the crowd have been brilliant. They always stay with you. They don't get any flares back. They're really supportive, because I think they recognise that we're in a good position, and we're trying to achieve something together.
Yeah, and what's your team news for the weekend, Jim?
Dean Cowie will still be missing this weekend, and Dean Richardson was back in the bench last week, so he's available again, which is good news. David Cox will still be out. Callum McDonald. But that's about us. I mean, we're Dean Cowie's actually maybe not as bad as we first thought he is. I still think he's as bad as that he's got a cracked bone in his toe, but he's the sort of boy who's coming and saying to me already, I think I'll be fit for next week, and he's jumping in his toe, and so hopefully he'll not be out for the month that we would expect him to be, which would be good for us.